Okay, hello. We are in Brussel. It's October, late October. It's still very hot, and I think that's already sort of historical, sort of.
Yeah.
But we are visiting Erika again.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do an interview. It has been 7 years ago that I was here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still curious about this.
Yes.
And I thought, let's go back
Yes.
and see how
I know.
Erika is going.
Yes. And as you can see,
Yeah,
she's doing very well.
yeah. Not much changed.
So in that way, I'm still at 86.
86, yeah.
Yes. But my soul is 20, you know.
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah.
It's all, you know, as a divine being, and I don't feel like anybody of my age, really, because I do things differently, but I have always done things differently since childhood. I never wanted to do things like everybody else. And finally, much later, I realized that I was an old soul. I don't know whether I already told you about it.
Not really, no. Just don't.
Because they came through Kryan, Kryan is a non-incarnated being that is channeled by Lee Carroll, who is an American, and he is the main channel. There are different people channeling. It's a group of beings, in fact. And I have read quite a number of his books, and I had a lot of sympathy. There was a lot of resonance there. And in 1912, I think, I met him, Lee Carroll, and it was because it was a time when it was the end of of an era, really, and they decided that Kryan had said that we should sing the ancient songs of the Lemurians, and that all the people who were there came from Lemuria and had taken the engagement to come back at this period. Okay.
And you were there too?
And he was there. Kryan, yes, and he did channelings, Lee Carroll.
Okay.
And in fact, it was Dr. Ovokaitis, an American doctor, who had received the songs, the music, or he had a mother from Lemuria, and who taught him the sounds. It's more like tuning than singing, really. And so he went through all over the world and taught the sounds. Okay. And then he said, we are going to give a concert at Maui on December 12th, 2012. Okay. And 950 people were there from all over the world in a choir. And we built 2 choirs and singing together. And we had 2 conductors also that changed over all the time. And it's healing music also. Okay. And so this is Kryan's contribution to it. And for many, many years, we met once a year in different sacred places of the world to open up energy capsules that had come from the stars. Okay. And then they were always connected to each other. They call it the Nulls and the Nulls, what was the other one? I can't remember now, right now. But anyway, 2 different energies but connected. And through the singing, we opened up the capsules, and it was said to open up the new era that was going to come.
Okay.
And that was the end of the calendar from this. I can't think of the name of this community. It's a population from South America, and maybe it will come in the course of the interview. The name will come back, and so this has been our task, and we stopped during the COVID.
Okay.
So the 2 years there was none, and this year they're doing it again, and the place is in Cancun. Yes, I think. In December, but I'm not going. I don't travel anymore since COVID, or very little, only short trips to Germany to see my family and things like that.
Okay.
But
how did you go through COVID? Through this period? How was it for you?
It was a big change because so many things were different, and we got all these instructions. You must do this, you must do that, and I retired sort of here.
Okay.
And but I was in contact with my friends from here, and you know what? We continued our sessions once a month.
Okay.
And I did also see people who came for consultation, and for me it was something. I noticed that there was something not true that we were told.
Okay.
And so I isolated from all the news that came out in the official news, and I went on YouTube and listened to what was going on there.
Okay.
And that seemed much more just and right. And,
Yeah.
So I sort of stayed a lot at home. I did walking in the forest, in the close by forest, every day, and I still do.
That's
for 2 hours. And so it was kind of isolation, and at the same time being very connected to the divine one within and to the divine one in everything, the divinity of all of life, and to feel the connection of all the people who were there, whom I had known in all my travels, and knew that they were continuing the good work. And so it wasn't, I didn't feel isolated. It wasn't a voluntary isolation, really. And I meditated a lot and just thought about things, and my faith has increased, and I really felt more connected to all of life.
You never wear glasses?
No.
Never in your life?
No. No. I bought glasses for distance seeing from the car, but I never used them. And so my sight is okay.
I need to get glasses.
Most people have that. But often I get the question, how at your age you don't have glasses? And I think, I'm different. And so I do what I do. And also, I have a cancer also. It was...
Oh, really?
Breast cancer.
Okay, so...
but it was a long story, really, because I first noticed a knot in my breast in India, when I was in India with Jasmine. And I went to a person who did past lives, and he said, yes, you were you lived in India, and you had a husband who was selected for you by your parents. He was a lot older than you were, but you loved each other, really, and had a good time together, and we had a baby.
Oh, really?
And there was, in the same village, there was a young guru who had thrown an eye on me, and who pretended that it was his child. And so the whole population came, and I took this child to me, like that. And that's the origin of this cancer.
Okay.
And so, and it didn't grow for a long, long time. And all of a sudden it became bigger and bigger and bigger. And I never was afraid. I just took it as a whatever, and I knew I would find a way to heal it.
Yeah.
And I tried lots of natural practices, and didn't really work. And so finally, when I went to one of the Lemurian choir practices in Bulgaria, I slipped in a cave that we were visiting, and I broke my shoulder.
Oh, really?
And then I finally went to Germany because I couldn't help myself at all. So directly from Bulgaria, I called my niece in Germany and I said, what shall we do? And so on. She said, why don't you come with us, to stay with us for the operation, because we have a hospital nearby. My son is one of the therapists at the hospital. He knows all the doctors and it has got a good reputation. Why don't you come? So I did go. And I went to the hospital and made an appointment for the operation. And during the operation, they saw what's the cancer, because it was very visible. But at the same time, I already had found a natural means. It was a black self, and it had reduced to half already,
Okay.
which was very good.
You had a black self?
Yes,
What
the
is
black self.
What is this black self?
Yeah, it is a black self of 5 different herbs.
Okay.
And it had really worked,
Yeah.
and then, but it was still half of it was like a big cabbage on my breast. And then the doctors there, they said, we have seen that you have that, and we would like to help you, but only if you agree.
Yeah.
And so I thought about it, and Jasmine had said, maybe you should go and see a doctor, and so on. And so I finally thought, well, I would go for it. And they did it, and it sort of healed, and I stayed in the hospital. They did first the shoulder, and then they waited for 2 weeks to do the cancer. And
They took it out?
Yeah, they took it out.
Yeah, okay.
And completely. And they also took all the little brown things, how do they call them? I can't remember, but these brown things under your, under the arm there.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I had one arm that was really swollen, big. And then I went to a therapist afterwards, and she said, it will never go away. It's very often when you take out all these globules, then this happens. And they hadn't warned me, and I asked the doctor, why didn't you tell me? And he said, well, we put everything into your documents, but it was like a book of 100 pages. I hadn't read it all.
Okay.
And so I didn't know that they were going to do that. And so then the body, and they also said we could use the other breast so that you can have, it will heal the part that was taken away better and so on. And they did that, and then the body didn't accept it. It became brown.
Okay.
And they said, oh, this is a necrosis, we must operate again. And I said, no, I'm going back to Brussels, and I will see a surgeon there and see what happened. And I came here, I went to the cancer center, and they said, I think we will wait and see what it does. And so it was really brown, like a wound, dried out. And so they said, we'll just wait until it heals. And that's what we did. And it healed quite well. It took a long time, and it's still visible, of course, but not, it's all healed. And so that was a very interesting experience for me also to go through that, and I also worked with natural healers afterwards.
There was no chemo thing?
No, they wanted to do it, and I said, no, I don't want this. And I did natural supplements, food supplements, with a friend who was a therapist of that, and it worked very well. And they wanted, afterwards, they wanted 5 years of chemistry in my body.
Okay,
And I said, no way. And so they were very surprised, but they said, well, if you think that, it's fine. It's your body. Yeah, exactly. And so I'm responsible for my body, and I take responsibility. So that was an interesting thing too, and that was just before COVID.
Okay.
But it's all part of that picture, and so with COVID, it was rather a very nice experience, I must say, for me, because everything became deeper, and I sort of felt, I'm really here for something that needs to happen. And I had heard or read that there would be a new golden age, and that nothing would be like before anymore.
Okay.
And I thought, yes, this is a good time for that, because we have had too much of all these people wanting to govern us, and 1% of the population has all the money and the rest has not much. And it's all, and all the governments, they all work together, and there's a lot of crime in the air. And I thought, well, this seems to be a good solution to end this. And all the channelings that came from different parts, and I followed those, and really picked out the people I appreciated. And I followed them, and I changed in the course of time, but I always got the right information for me, at least. And so it's been a very interesting time, and for me it was really a total change. And all our references we have from this life will fall, and there will be a completely new population like it has never been before on the earth. And I thought, wow, amazing, if I can be part of that.
You want to stay, you want to see it.
Yes, and I really, really felt that I wanted. I'm going to get some water.
Okay.
Do you want to watch glass of water on
Yeah, why not? Okay. That was already quite a big story.
Yes.
Now, I'm sort of interested also in you because you don't eat. That's sort of the most amazing thing I think about you.
Yes. So, yes.
And you still don't eat. 7 years ago you didn't eat, and now you still.
I do eat every now and again.
Okay.
Because I find when I first had told people that I didn't eat and drink anymore, they didn't invite me anymore.
Yeah, you told us last time.
Yes. Yeah. And so I decided, so occasionally I'm eating, and also for the cancer, for the healing of the cancer, with this supplement, I needed to eat because it was food supplement. And you had to eat food with it. So I did for that. I did eat, but only vegetarian, of course, and light food. But at the same time, but the principle is still there, and I'm still following the same. The consciousness is there totally, and that hasn't stopped even if I'm eating. And also, I can transmute everything that I integrate into my body, so it doesn't do any harm of any kind.
Right.
And my cancer really heals quickly, and the doctors were very surprised. Like, each time when I go to see a doctor, they say, "How do you do it, madam?" But you know, it's a different consciousness that I'm living, and that makes a difference. And I also, I don't know whether I already told you at the time that I met a shaman from Hawaii, and she said that I had already lived on prana before.
Okay.
And 3 times, she talked about 3 times, and in different countries, in China, and in Tibet, and in one of the Asian countries. And each time I lived for a couple of 100 years in one life.
Oh, really? That long?
So that was kind of, it's been there for a long time, but those people who did it were mainly holy people, you know,
probably.
who had a special task. And so I'm one of the people who is back now, like being an old soul. I realized that also through all I traveled a lot during my life, and finally I got that I was revisiting all the different places I had lived at.
Okay,
And it was quite clear for one, when I went to, for example, Japan. I arrived there and I thought, "Ooh, I know this," you know, and all the temples and all that were familiar. And so I thought, "Oh yes, I must have been here." And so then she confirmed it, and so that was another thing that happened. And so it's still very important to eat very little, you know, but when I celebrate with friends, although I also drink a glass of champagne or a glass of wine, and to celebrate life, because everything is holy.
Okay.
So, and it doesn't make any difference to my state of being. It's still the same, and I have all this wisdom inside me, and it's quite amazing. Sometimes I'm amazed myself at what I tell people. But altogether, I'm really on this path, and it's become deeper, and it's really about now living in this new era. And I sort of have the impression I am already one of the people who lives in the new world. And I can be just being an example. I tell people a little bit when they are interested. I feel, you know, and often I find that some of them are so much afraid that when they see or hear of somebody who is telling them a different story, they can believe it. And I also am still in contact with Jasmine very much. You know, and I just followed a workshop with her online recently, and she was saying the same thing also, that we are already living in this new world. And as an example, and when things get a bit complicated and so on, we use mantras and help people also by, for example, one of the most important mantra is, "I am pure love." And if you pronounce that, then you become that. And we're really at this point that we are pure love. And the people feel it. They don't need to be convinced, or I don't need to say. They see there is something that they would like to have. And that's what I give to people now. And so it's not mental at all. It really is.
It's beyond.
It's beyond. And it's really representing the divinity of all of life. Everything is holy. Nice. Everything is sacred. We are, and everybody else, and even those who are doing all these criminal things, they are divine. They have the divine center in themselves, but it's been under a lot of rubble. And it's not there. And so it's really, it's a big cleansing.
Yeah, for them, for sure. Yeah.
And
you're clean already.
Yeah. Yes. So I can already show the the cleaning sample.
I see this.
Yeah, and that's what's happening now. And there won't be any authority anymore who tells us what to do and all this. And
not necessary.
No, it's not necessary anymore. And people will just work together and make the decisions themselves. And you can find it's already happening. There's many projects all over the world where people get together, lots of young people also making new patents and really working for this. And there's still, some people still think we can go back, but I think the majority is already convinced that this is a time of big change.
Yeah, it's big change.
And for things that, like it's never been before, and it's exciting.
That's good.
To be part of that, and really be in the middle of it. And what happens to me, I am now at a point where I always meet the right people at the right moment. Like when you called, I had said, oh yes, it would be interesting to do an interview again. And a few days later, you called. Or I meet people, I was on a plane to Italy, and I met this woman from Switzerland, from the Italian part of Switzerland, and we started talking, and we were so the same kind of people. We just talk during the whole flight to Milan, and at the airport we just hugged and said, we must see each other again, and we are in contact again. And so I just meet the right people for the right thing, and I don't need to do anything. I don't need to make any publicity or so. It just happened.
It just happened. That's nice.
And all these nice little miracles that happen that way. It's fascinating, and all the people that come to me, we are a group of people who are really connected. And I have a little, it's like a hotel in French, how do you call it? It's like a little sacred place where we put things, names of people who need healing and things like that, or if you are in trouble, you can stay there for a little while and get blessings from there. And we all join in meditation when we come here. And so there's lots of little things like that. And somebody is in pain and calls me, and then we talk for a little while, and then they feel better, and such things, or just doing the right thing at the right time. And it's fabulous. It's fascinating.
I like your stories, but I have also sort of a plan.
Your plan.
But I'm sort of the not eating ID. You are sort of living this. I think it's sort of fascinating for me. And I tried this on my own way, because I read I started also with Jasmine. I read a few books of her, and I thought, okay, I think I can do this.
Yeah.
So I went. I just went playing with this on my own.
Yeah.
And this took a while, and I had also a period of 8 days that I didn't eat. But I lost a lot of weight.
Oh yeah.
So I was about 60 kilos on the end.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel really comfortable with this. So I thought, no, I stop now, and I'm going back, I'm going to eat again. And yeah, now I'm just playing in different areas. You know, sometimes I go only on fruit, but after a few days or few weeks on fruit, I'm fed up with fruit.
Yeah.
And then I slip back to normal food.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's quite not easy to do
No.
this. I also have a family, you know, and they're not really into this experiment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's not easy.
it's really not easy.
No. And
so
it's,
I wonder a bit.
yeah, and it's also, you know, every person must find out their own way.
Yeah.
Because we have the Pranic Festival in Italy, for example, where I went 3 times as a teacher also, and they were asking me, couldn't you take a group of people on and teach them the 21-day process, which I never did. And I said, I cannot do this because everyone needs to find their own way. So don't worry about it. You get, once you are in contact with this vibration, you already got it. And it doesn't matter whether you eat or don't eat. You know, like I say, if I eat, it doesn't matter. We can transform everything or transmute, and we are in the right energy already. So it's not really important that you do it 100%. Anything is okay. You are just, for you, it's something you would like to have, and you have tried it, you've done a few times of doing it, and just find a way that you do it occasionally, you know, and then you go back to normal food, and then you come back again, and so on. If you can just find for yourself something that pleases you and that works for you, why not take it like that?
I take light. Just play with it.
Play with it. It's fine.
I do this.
And that's enough. Because it's something, it's one of the many ways to have the divine consciousness. But it's not the only one.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
So there are so many different ways, and there's so many different teachers. And just take this into your memory or into your way of life. You can do it, but you sometimes you feel you need it different. I weigh 60 kilos too, but that's fine for me. I've always.
How tall are you? You're not that tall.
No, you're taller. But anyway, that's the way. And I think that if you do it like that, that's less. You don't feel guilty that you don't do it.
You can all these thoughts.
You can forget about it. Just you do it your way, and that's perfect.
I'm sort of. That's okay with me. You know, I wrote here from what's the difference between you and me. That you can do it, and but you already elaborate.
Yes, this is really what it is like, and there's no 2 people the same in the world. So we all have to find our own way.
That's a good story.
And so it's not important.
But let's say that you're in, like you know, you're in this vibration in a way.
Yes.
In a way, you don't need food.
No.
You don't need to drink.
No.
You can stay for this for months if you want. You don't need vitamins.
No.
And well, you know, the meat eaters, they believe in B12. That you need this for your body and stuff like this.
Whatever you believe is right, it's true for you.
If you don't believe it, then it doesn't.
Exactly.
It's more like imaginary that it gets you.
You create your own world. And that's really the way for everyone. all these people who are afraid of doing this wrong or right or whatever.
I'm not afraid of doing it wrong, but when I was 60 kilo, I was afraid of dying.
Yeah.
I don't want to go because I was so weak.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I thought, now I need more strength. I go back.
Yeah.
I go eat again.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's okay.
That's
it's
sort of
perfectly okay.
Yeah, it happens.
Really. And I always say, I can tell people ask me, what shall I do? And I say, I would do this or that, but don't take it for the truth. Look in your own heart whether it's right for you or not.
If it works.
And I think that's the main thing, that everyone finds their own way. And there are no rules. It's like with all these governments and then this decree, you must get vaccinated and you must do this.
Did you get vaccinated?
No.
No. Okay. Very good.
No. I had a flu test, when I wanted to go to Germany, for example, I needed to. But no.
I like it. Okay. I have another sort of story that I want to bring in.
Yeah.
I read a book from Hilton. What's his name? Hilton from Hilton. Hilton Hotema, it's his name. And it's called in Florida, Long Life in Florida.
Oh yeah.
And he did a lot of research about long life and health and also he died in 1970 when I was born.
Yeah.
But he died a little bit earlier than I was born, so I can't be him.
Yes.
It's so funny. But he sort of looks back on paradise with Adam and Eve.
Yes.
And he thinks that it was a tropical environment at that time. So they didn't need to get warm or house or because it was just cozy already.
Yeah.
And they also didn't eat.
Yeah.
Because that was their state, also their vibrational level. So and that's sort of the idea of the paradise, There is not much want, and but you can go around, and there's another, it's different perspective.
Yeah.
And I just want to, sort of imagine a little bit. What do you think about it? Can it be like this again, or just play with this a bit?
I think it wouldn't be like that again because nothing is repeated.
Yeah.
It will be a new way of doing it. But like we say, we never say we don't eat or drink. We just say we live from another source.
Yeah.
And so it is energy that is around us and it's everywhere. And if you believe in it, you can have it. If you don't believe in it, you cannot have it.
Yeah.
And it's all the healers who use it, and yoga people, and all that is in that kind of same vibration.
Yeah, vibration.
They use it, and it's there.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of you deciding, yes, I want to go for it, and then you get it. It's really all about this, that we need to decide inside what we want. And really how we want to live. If we want, I was talking to an Indian friend who wrote to me, I'm not very well, and I have had all these terrible people in my life and so on. And I'm on a spiritual path. And I said, well, if you're on a spiritual path, why don't you change your mind and say, all this I got to learn that I don't want this. That it's just everything that happens is for a reason. And so she probably got all this environment to realize that she doesn't really want it. So she needs to do something to change it. And I said, you are on a spiritual path. So you meditate. You are a school teacher, you teach children, that's your life. You play an instrument, you sing and play music with other people. And you don't even talk about it in your letter you wrote to me. why not just leave the bad things behind and enjoy what you have and all the beautiful things that you do and have. And say thank you every day to your body that it pursues its journey. And it's so fantastic, this body. It's not connected to any source of energy, and yet it works. And we can walk, and we can look, and we can hear, and all this. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And so, why not look from this side of the planet? She said, oh, you're such a blessing. It's just a way of you to decide what you want in life.
That's sort of...
And there have been so many teachers, and there won't be so many teachers anymore, because everybody needs to decide for themselves.
I can see this. So it will take, I think this whole, it will take some time, I think, to get this sort of more wide open. That's why I also want to make this video, to show it more, to get a sort of ideas
I think that's
that
very
we
good
sort of
idea
create our own stuff.
To bring about.
We are driving now around with all these trucks, and we don't have enough energy. But we don't really need this stuff. We can do it in another way.
Exactly.
And that's not so known yet, I think.
Yeah. It's like I took ayahuasca twice with Jasmine.
Okay.
Because she's done it also. She did it more often, but not very often either. And the first time, it was a very interesting experience, especially for Jasmine. We were sitting next to each other because it was my first time, and she wanted to watch on me. And so at one point she saw me very young, like with the baby skin, and 5 minutes later she saw me dying. My limbs became stiff, and she took my hand and she said, breathe, breathe!
Okay.
And I woke up from this where I was. I
Okay.
didn't have the same impression.
Okay.
And then I did, and she said, and I said, oh, I need to go to the toilet, and I emptied myself of everything. And then came back, and then there were 2 ladies helping me, and it was outside in the jungle in South America. And
when was this? Long ago, or is it? Years ago?
It's maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago.
So then you were almost 80, and you were doing this stuff.
Yeah. And
Come on.
the young people in my family, have you ever taken drugs? Yes. I was like, wow. Yeah. They love it. And I just wanted to know what it does to you.
Yeah, I can see.
And so everything was fine afterwards.
But what did it do to you? Because you were on a trip too, probably.
I didn't have much of vision. I didn't have any visions at all, because I don't have them. I have sometimes dreams, but not much. Just Maureen has constant conversations with Jesus and Mary and all the holy ones and so on and other. I have no conversations and I have no visions, but I have an intuition, and that's quite perfect. That's really when I know about the person also. I also play the game of transformation, I probably already told you, where I have to ask people, how do you feel about this and so on, and I know exactly what they need. That's my tool.
Okay.
And Jasmine has the pictures and so on. And so that was the first time, and the second time I had, and that was very nice. Have you seen the film Avatar?
Yes.
And I felt like I had a vision. I felt like one of these big birds that you can sit on.
Okay.
And I could feel my hair blowing in the wind.
Okay.
And that was amazing.
Maybe you just have seen this video of this film, and then after this you went in this trip.
Maybe,
you took it with you.
Yeah, maybe I did. And I also had a message, because I was doing a workshop with another lady in France, and she said, you know, I had visitors for you today. That was the day before I was leaving. And I said, who were they? They were blue people from the blue planet,
Okay.
from Avatar.
Van Avatar, yeah.
And they just wanted to let you know that you're coming back to them when you leave here. And I said, but I don't want to leave here. It doesn't matter. You can leave whenever you want, you know. But they reminded me that I had been there. So that corresponded to each other in a way. So that, and then I said, I'm not going to take any drugs anymore. I don't need it.
No.
I really don't need it. It was just to know what other people are doing about it and all this stuff. It's not necessary. We can have it also.
Your spirit is already light enough.
Yes. Yeah. We don't need any games like that.
How's your sleep? You know, they say that...
I sleep little.
Little, okay.
I'm 5 hours maximum, and I wake up a lot, but it doesn't matter. I know that it's that way. No, I just cope with it.
But, you know...
It is because we have this high energy going, and it needs an outlet, so each one of us needs to find ways of how to deal with it. You know, some people say, oh, if I haven't slept, I can't live, or so, it's terrible. But whatever you believe happens.
But, you know, your days are in a bit longer. You don't have to eat so much. You have loads of time.
I have, indeed, yes.
You're not bored then?
No, never. I like it. I like it to do nothing. And also, I walk every morning in the forest, and it's always different. The lights are different, and I'm in contact with nature, and it feels so good. And I do my exercises outside also, my qigong exercises, and I never get bored. And I just can sit there and look at this view.
Okay.
And I need flowers around me. I have a lot of plants, you know, inside and outside of the balcony also. And that's my contact to nature. But I'm happy with whatever comes, and you know, sometimes I have meetings and then it doesn't happen, and people say, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, it's been cancelled. I say, it doesn't matter. I just adapt to whatever comes, and I don't get angry, or I live in the present moment all the time. And so sometimes I read, sometimes I just look at nature or go for a walk, or music is very important. I love going to concerts.
Okay.
And fortunately it's back again, because during COVID I couldn't, no. And I have my sessions of, you know, international orchestras from all over the world. Okay. And it's about once a month I have a, you know, you go there. I go there. And that makes me dream also. But I have a lot of time, and I take it, and then somebody rings on the door, and can I come and see you? Yes, you're welcome. And somebody rings, and I listen and talk, and do things like that. But there's nothing like habits or so. I just adapt to the moment. I really live totally in the present moment. And do whatever comes.
Oh, that's nice.
Like a neighbor comes up and says, hello, can I talk to you for a moment? And I talk to them. And, you know, it's just spontaneous. And it's perfect for me. I like that.
Well, that's fine, of course. What can I? What do I have more? what's this? Let me see how I get this in this. What do you think about this paradise stuff?
Mm.
We are in paradise. Let's say you're Eve and I'm Adam.
Mm-hmm.
And we already pictured the idea that they didn't need to eat, and they lived quite. The climate was warm, so then you have a different activity, in this system than we have now. And now we are sort of, I think we are sort of over-consumed.
Yeah.
Because we have so much desires, we want everything, and we are driving around all this stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff is not necessary at all.
No.
But how to stop it? You don't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
But that's very complicated, and I think this is happening now.
Yeah.
Now companies are closing down with the energy prices, and we think it's all very bad, but maybe it's good.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all for the highest best. Because we don't need all this anymore. And anyway, we will have free energy once we move completely over to the other side. And that comes from the people living on other planets or extraterrestrials. It will be all there. We can, we don't even need to travel. We can just think about the place where we want to go, and we're there instantly.
Okay, that's a totally different level.
Yeah. A totally different level, absolutely.
I wonder if this is maybe going too far. But I can see the sort of...
It's one of the possibilities. And I came back from Hamburg 2 days ago, and they had completely changed the airport, and everything was more complicated. I couldn't find the places I wanted to look at, and finally I gave up totally and just waited at my gate, and my flight was late. And it's all getting more complicated and more putting things into the movement.
That's true. Also
making
coming to
it
here.
more difficult.
So many people, so many roads. I'm very lucky that we have Google.
Works on the roads everywhere. And they wanted to get us into this stuff, and it makes the people react to it, and they don't want it. And that's a good thing. They don't realize that by making it worse, they are promoting the opposite direction. And that's very good. So, because I thought, I don't want to travel anymore. What's this? Even I love traveling. I have traveled all my life, and it's been fantastic. But now, the way that happens and nothing works anymore.
I don't know. I'm sort of also a bit. I traveled also, and I'm sort of okay with this. If I don't travel, I can stay at home. It's okay. That's also because if I've seen all the stuff, then you can leave it alone. I think when you're young, and I can't say to my daughter, you can't go, because if the desires are there, they see things on television or whatever, they want to see this. It's logical. But it's another. It's another story, whatever.
It's all different, because nothing is like we could imagine. It will be completely new, and so it's difficult to think about how it could be. Because all our references that we have are not valid anymore. It will just be, that's why I'm just opening up to whatever comes. And I don't know whether you have that in Holland, this new movement called Solaris. And it's like a neighborship help. Thing. But they do all sorts of experiments, how to keep preserving the food, and how to make fire when there is no fire, and all these, just in case it goes, badly. And I don't want to be part of that at the beginning. There's lots of nice people in there and of goodwill, but they are focused on all these means, how to find your way when nobody can tell you where to go, and it's strange. And I don't want to be part of that. I went out of it again. But there is a bit of everything going on now. And you really must see, watch what's going on.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
The whole story.
Yeah.
To manage it in a simple story.
Yeah. And just, it's going back into the heart and find the solutions there. Because there's such a richness inside. And just trust in that. Don't have any fears. Just know that all is going for the highest best. And we will all work together and it will be wonderful. But we don't know how. That's a surprise. And it's good to be,
that keeps you open.
Yes, open for everything. And just enjoy the present moment. Do fun things. Celebrate with friends. Sing, dance, play.
Let me see. That's very good. I need the glasses, but okay, that's wonderful. We are almost talking an hour. Almost. We're going to an end.
Yes.
Because people,
Yes.
lots of people already disappeared.
Yeah.